Hello, I'm going to show you how to make handmade recycled paper at home. It's not a quick process. You need to soak paper for a few days first, and then afterwards you need a few days for the paper to dry out. Then you need to start chopping it up into small pieces, as small as you can get. You're going to have to soak this, so the smaller you can make it, the less time it'll take to soak. If you've got a shredding machine, that's perfect. So just start chopping all your pieces of paper up into small pieces. Next you need to add some water until the water just covers the amount of paper you've got. And you're going to have to leave this for a couple of days until it goes all soggy. When the paper starts to get really soggy, try and go in and try and rip it all apart like this. You're trying to make it into tiny little pieces and as mushed up as possible. I'm going to actually use a kitchen blender on this later on, but if you haven't got a kitchen blender, then you really need to do this stage loads and loads of times to try and break these pieces into smaller and smaller pieces. So once you've mushed it up for a few days, transfer a little bit to a bowl and just try and whisk it or blend it. It's a bit messy, so make sure you cover up the bits of kitchen. You can see the difference in the texture now. This is a lot finer than that original, so that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so it does look this sort of grey colour. That's because all the ink has dissolved off the paper. There's not much you can do about that, but in this batch here I'm going to try and put a little bit of green food colouring in. So let's see what happens to that, see if I can make some green coloured paper. So on the days that your paper's soaking, you need to be getting a paper frame ready. So I've got one that I bought here, but if you haven't got one, they're quite easy to find on the internet, but if you haven't got one, you can make one. And I know this seems like really odd stuff, but here's the lid off an ice cream tub. I'm just going to get an adult to help you do this bit, because plastic can be quite sharp when you cut it. I've just cut a little frame out at the top, and then you get a pair of tights, and basically you have just made a paper frame. Okay, so once you've got your pulp, you're ready to make some paper. Now this stage is going to get really messy, so I would suggest do it in your kitchen sink or in your bath, or actually I'm going to do it outside. So what you need to get ready is a kitchen bowl full of water. You've got your pulp, you've got some boards. Now these boards came with my kit, but if you haven't got a kit, then you might want to use a chopping board or something like that. Some kitchen cloths and your frames, and once you've got all that together, you're ready to go. First thing you need to do is get some of your pulp and put it into the bowl of water and swish it around. You want to put a really good chunk of it in there. You're trying to dissolve it all again in this water now, spread it all around in the water. Depends how many pieces you're going to make as to how much you're putting in and how thick you want each piece of paper to be. So there we go, we've suspended our pulp into the paper. Okay, so you get your frame, remember to just swish your water around again, get your frame, and you need to push it right to the bottom of the bowl and lift it up and down a few times like this, and then when you bring it out, it should leave all the suspended bits of paper on the mesh like that. So you can just let as much water drain out as you can. Bring it across to some space. Now I'm taking that top bit off, and then what I'm going to do is put a kitchen cloth over the top of it, and you want to just get one of your boards like the kitchen board, and you're just going to press down, and this is where lots of water will come gushing out, which is why you need to be outside or at the sink or in the bath. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this handmade little frame works as well. So you do exactly the same, up and down, suspend the bits of paper like that, bring it out, and you're going to put your cloth on the top just the same like that. Okay, so when you've squeezed a lot of water out, carefully what you've got to do is turn it all over like that. And I would press again on this side, try and get a little bit more water out. And then what you've got to do is very carefully try and lift the frame off the paper. So just do it slowly, give it a chance to sort of drop downwards. And there you can see your piece of paper on that cloth. and it should stick to the cloth quite nicely. So you can lift that cloth up now and put it somewhere to dry. So again, you can leave it in the bath for a day or put it on a windowsill. It should take about a day and a half to dry out, depending on how thick you've made it. If you've made several pieces, what you can do is just layer all the pieces up on the cloth like that. Put your big board on the top, on the last one, and then just press down on the whole pile. A lot of water will come out, but your paper will be thinner and flatter if you do that. And once it's dried, you can make something out of it. Now you just need to leave them to dry for a bit. Somewhere warm would be good. It might take a couple of days. So here's my pieces of paper, and I'm all ready to make a little birthday card out of this. So here's the little card that I've made out of the recycled paper. I've used some of that one that I did the food colouring with to make a flower, and just edged in it in a little bit of felt pen. Found some extra bits to decorate the middle. It's hard to write on this recycled paper, so I found some nice green paper for the inside to write a message on. And then that comes with a matching envelope, so I can send my card off now. So why don't you have a go making some paper, and then you could submit it to our gallery on recycleforgreatermanchester.com. Send us a picture, show us what you've done.